all the jump packs. Yeah, there's a fire. Yeah, we're gonna not turn it back on. Smell down there. The alternator's down there. It looks like there's a big nest.
The other day I was at the junkyard to pick up a snowmobile. I was walking back to meet the end loader dude, and this gem stood out like a sore thumb. A 2013 G37x. As soon as I could, I asked the owner how much for that car. Is it available? Can I buy it? And he said yes, this thing will sit here forever, as they deal with a lot of domestics. So I said, how much? $400. For the price of a lawnmower, we found a luxury sedan with one of the most legendary engines ever made.
So we'll be getting it delivered on Monday. Headlights look decent. This one's a little fogged over, but the other side's really good. What a beautiful car for 400 bucks. A little musty. It's been sitting for a few years. It's got the Go Fast Racing carbon fiber, and we'll see if what the mileage is. What is that?
Beard butter.
Oh, I found that in there. I sure love the tips on that exhaust.
163.
Oh, nice.
Can I try it?
The first thing that pops up, and I'm gonna I'm totally betting the motor's locked up.
Oil filter.
A few days later, we had it delivered. That's the moment where reality sets in and you start wondering what you actually bought. At $400 with delivery included, I'm anxious to get it looked at. Either way, it's worth the gamble. By this final year of the G series, Infiniti had worked out most of the early model bugs, making these some of the most reliable versions of the platform. The sunroof drains are known for plugging, and with this much interior moisture, I'm sure we'll be doing that soon. Next, we did a compression test hoping for the best, but the numbers didn't lie. The motor was tired and it needed a heart transplant. The newer Infinitis have moved away from what made these cars great. The VQ37VHR in this car is a masterpiece, if you change your oil more than every 15,000 miles. The newer 3-liter twin turbos are fast but complex, and early models were notorious for premature turbo failures. This G37 is the last of the bulletproof era. We found a donor motor with 90K, great history, for 600 bucks and got to work. Seriously though, who loads a motor like this? When they came around, I was like, but it seemed to be fine. It was settled that way, and we used a bunch of ratchet straps and took it easy on the ride home. Before replacing the engine, I decided to remove the seats, carpet, and let this thing dry out. It gave me a good chance to get the carpet nice and clean. I just love the way this car smiles at you. I noticed the car had aftermarket exhaust, but really didn't look into it until I pulled the motor, revealing Burk test pipes and a full ARK exhaust, exceeding the cost of a, well, relatively nice used riding lawnmower at this point, so that's pretty cool. The engine swap was relatively straightforward until I was ready to lower the car and cut a zip tie on the harness, revealing a good motor with 100 psi compression. I immediately hooked up a jump pack and found it to have about 220 psi. Whoever wrote that on the engine should be fired. While everything was apart, I decided to replace a torn inner CV boot. All right, another update here on the G37. We've got the motor in. We vacuum filled it. I'm just double checking it's topped off. Transmission fluid, T-case is done. The car started right up, running great, however a little rich on the passenger side. After replacing the coils from the other engine on that side and a new set of plugs, as well as air fuel sensors, because those were chewed up by critters while it was at the junkyard or for the years that it sat, it runs amazing now. And I know washing a car in the sun is the worst thing to do, but this was the first 30-degree day we've had in a long time, and I just wanted to get the film off it real quick. And we're not done yet. I forgot to replace the alternator that I swapped over onto this new motor, so there was that. And then in order to even wash it, I had to borrow my friend's 2013 G37X and put his BCM in this car, use his key to the hole, and it rolled the windows up. So I put his BCM back in, he's on his way. With that being said, this one needs a BCM because when I rolled the car in and rolled the windows down, there was enough moisture inside the car to make the connection. With the car cleaned, dried up, now the BCM doesn't want to do its thing. I drove 6 hours round trip to get a $300 box of useless stuff. I remember the IPDM ER and the steering lock having something to do as well. So it's going to have to see a dealer for a BCM reprogram, and we're going to do that before we send the ECM to ZR1. For a tune and security delete. I'm also very happy with the ARK exhaust, and I would highly recommend it to anyone looking at it.
What a great car in the snow too. That's so good in the snow.
"24 hours later. We have about $2,000 total in this car. A 2013 with full exhaust pushing 360 plus horsepower through a legendary all-wheel drive system. To get the same experience in 2026, you'd be looking at a BMW 340i or an Acura TLX Type S, and to sit in either of those seats, you'd be looking at $64,000. A $1,200 a month payment, $200 insurance. But let's keep it real, I can't even think of $60,000. Interest is a killer on a 2026 Acura TLX Type S. On average, a buyer will pay $10,000 to $12,000 in interest over 5 years. I get it, new cars are nice, but they're not me. And don't get me wrong, I like my Toyotas too. The same $1,900 of this investment doesn't even cover the sales tax and registration on a base Corolla in most states. I'm driving a luxury-tuned sports sedan for the subscription price of YouTube Premium, compared to the debt these new cars require. In 2026, the tuner tax is at an all-time high. Because of complicated electronics, locked ECUs, and heavy emissions, to get a 26 BMW or Acura to sound as aggressive and pull as hard as this car, the owner would have to spend thousands just to fix what the factory restricted. This G is a true blessing. It's the last of the real ones. A V6 that's meant to go the long haul, and we don't have much in it, and it's gonna outlast anything on the showroom floor today. Reusing a machine like this is more eco-friendly than buying anything else. We're giving it a second life, taking an engine that already exists and using it. Plus, this thing gets great fuel mileage. And we're not just talking numbers, we're just getting started. We have so much more to show, including 300-foot street drags at our local racetrack, a handful of autocross events, and any maintenance or repairs we come across along the way. We also have some past live streams working on this, so be sure and check those out. I'm Carrie, Rob's neighbor, and thank you for watching.